In a very tactical Euro 2020 qualifier, Germany eventually managed to beat the Netherlands 3-2. The Netherlands were supposed to line up in a 4-3-3 shape, but this became more of a 5-3-2. While at Germany, Ginter started at the right side of a back three and Kroos on the left side of the midfield. Minute 1 till 8. The Netherlands started with a high man-orientated press. Depay would press Schüller with Babel going to Rudiger. The midfield would also be man-orientated, with De Roon marking Kroos. On the left side, Ginter would be left free, as Promes followed the forward runs of Kehrer, making a back five. Germany's forwards would constantly drop into midfield, which caused a lot of problems for the Dutch. Here, Sane drops into midfield as De Ligt follows him. But because De Ligt is hesitant with completely following Sane, he isn't tight enough, and Sane is able to turn. Meanwhile, Ginter's forward movement was causing the Netherlands trouble during pressing. You can see here, Ginter has moved into midfield and creates a 2 vs 1 against Wijnaldum. Minute 7 to 23. To fix the problem with Ginter, Promes would now press high and Blind would move up to press Kehrer. On the other side, Dumfries already did the same with Schultz. To compensate for Promes' absence in the back line, Frenkie de Jong would now often fall back to make it a back five, while the Dutch defenders continued to follow the German strikers when they dropped. When in possession, the Netherlands weren't able to break down Germany's defensive block, mainly because Goretzka covered de Jong quite well. Germany defended in something of a 5-3-2 shape, with Goretzka at times in front of the two forwards. Goretzka would then cover the passing lane to de Jong. Only when de Jong moved into the cover shadow of another player, Goretzka would move up to press the back pass. Germany scored the first goal, which showed the lack of progress during the Dutch build-up. As you can see here, De Ligt doesn't have any passing options, so decides to play a long ball. Both Depay and De Roon make a run. But because both players have made a run, there's no one left to win the second ball. The ball is played forward and laid off to Kroos, which starts the attack for the first goal. The most problems the Dutch actually caused were from their own doing, as their heavy man-oriented way of defending didn't allow them to tag off opponents. De Ligt has to follow Sane, which pulls him completely out of position, nearly into Germany's penalty box. Van Dijk follows the dropping movement of Gnabry. Van Dijk doesn't want to be dragged out of position too much, so tries to pass Gnabry over to a teammate. But because of the heavy man-orientated way of defending, no one is able to take over the marking of Gnabry, and Wijnaldum ends up with two players in his zone. Here's another example. De Ligt doesn't want to be dragged out of position too much, but there's no one able to take over the marking of his opponent, which nearly results in a chance for Sane. Meanwhile, when one of the Dutch players was outplayed or didn't step through, Germany immediately had a free player in midfield. In this example, Kroos moves to the side and is free to play a ball in behind. Van Dijk doesn't follow, so Goretzka gets free. The Netherlands started to get dangerous when Babel and Promes switched sides. Immediately after the change, Babel went into a 1 vs 1 with Neuer, and he had a shot from close range as he was able to exploit Kehra's blindside. In the second half, the Netherlands made some changes which made them play much better. First of all, Wijnaldum and De Roon switched positions, with Wijnaldum being much more tight on Kroos. Secondly, Promes would again fall back with Kehrer, leaving Ginter free during build-up. And thirdly, because Promes was playing as a wingback again, de Jong was able to go back to midfield, which allowed him to take up the German attackers when they dropped. The Netherlands also made some changes during possession. Instead of dropping back, de Jong would now stay in a higher position. In addition, when de Jong did fall back, De Ligt and Blind would move all the way to the sides to again create a 4v3 at the back. In addition, the Dutch attackers would make a lot more runs in behind the defence. With De Ligt scoring from a corner and Depay scoring after a transition, it was 2-2, and this is in the very last minute. Even though the Netherlands were much better in the second half, just one moment of disorganisation was enough for the Germans, as they scored the last goal and made it 3-2, 1 minute before the end of the match. Anyway, that's all for today. Again, make sure you like and subscribe if you liked the video, and links to Patreon, Instagram and Twitter are all in the description. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.